All right, hello everyone and welcome. My name is Waffles the Asian Yanbear and we are here with 5 9 Gaming talking about Pokemon Legends Arceus. I'm here with my good friend Gale Riot. Say hello.
Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm a happy bunny here. Of course, as a huge Sinnoh fan, I am eating good.
Oh, for
Very
sure.
good.
For sure. There's so much good Sinnoh news today. We're going to be covering all the important stuff today. And then this week, we're going to be talking about so much good stuff. But today, we are here to talk about Pokemon Legends Arceus. How are you feeling about this?
I mean, it's what we wanted. I mean, it's what people wanted for time. Of course, an open world game developed by Game Freak. And I'm just gonna say it, so that I don't keep saying it through the rest of the video. I told y'all on Twitch and everywhere else, Game Freak needs time. And lo and behold, we've got what we wanted in a proper open world RPG. It seems like, if set in feudal Sinnoh, of course, again, Sinnoh being my favorite region, I'm extremely happy. Seems a bit like Breath of the Wild-esque. I mean, obviously it would. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's made on the same platform, of course. But it seems like there's only like based on one town and then Mount Coronet. It's going to be very interesting because it seems like it's actually set in feudal Sinnoh. There's no other towns. There's nothing else to look forward to in terms of like gyms or anything. It seems like it's a genuine journey in the olden time. So I'm looking forward to it. It's something that we've also been asking for, is like a Pokemon game set in like ages and ages ago, back in the day. And this is seemingly what we got.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, I'm really excited. I think this is similar to like Pokemon Conquest. I feel that same kind of vibes. Obviously, not the same kind of gameplay, but I think there's so many lore possibilities they have by exploring old Pokemon, old Sinnoh, and oh my god, I'm just filled with hype right now. It's so cool. Oh my goodness. But
it's crazy. It's honestly crazy. I mean, the fact that we're getting feudal Sinnoh, it's going to be very interesting because we're going to be deeping. I mean, we already kind of dive into the lore of Pokemon generally through each game. Sometimes we do it via towards like books, and like then the end of the game we encounter the legends we've seen and whatnot. This is the first time we're actually going to be, I assume, properly diving into the lore of Pokemon. We're going to be literally hunting down for, getting these Pokemon, learning about them for the very first time. I mean, the trailer even said, or the presentation even said, you are effectively building up the Sinnoh Pokedex for the first time. So you are the person who's actually creating the Pokedex for the first time, rather than being the guy who gets the Pokedex and, oh yeah, the Pokemon already exist. Everybody has maybe one or two of each Pokemon, right? So it's going to be very interesting.
Oh yeah, and like just the whole idea of being able to run through the grass, catch Pokemon, just actually throwing the Pokeball. So much hype, so good. Oh
yeah, it's good. It's gonna be great. Honestly, I genuinely am very, very impressed. We've seen like there's the diving mechanics, there's crouching in the game for the first time. You can throw the Pokeball outside of battle, it seems like. It's also very interesting to see if you can initiate battle with the wild Pokemon and then capture them, or is it just that you have to capture them outside of battle, like the anime does, or more often than not the anime does that. Like, for example, Ash and has numerous times tried to capture a Pokemon outside of battle, and has obviously done so as well sometimes. It's going to be very interesting. What do you think about that? Do you think we'll be able to capture Pokemon both ways, or is it just going to be like you have to be outside of battle potentially?
Well, I think we're going to be able to capture them both ways, because I know in the trailer they showed like the guy was kind of hiding and he threw the Pokeball from really far away just at some Pokemon that were hanging out, and he actually caught it.
My man was an NFL player there, bro.
Oh my god, the aim, dude. This little Pokeball just, woof. This wasn't even like a big Pokemon too. I think, was it like the Shinx?
It was a Shinx, yeah.
Oh my god. Like, honestly though, I think it seems like we'll be able to fight Pokemon. I know that the leaks said that the trainer themselves can fight Pokemon, which I know everyone's gonna meme on.
Yeah, I highly doubt that's the case, because we did get leaks for this game before the trailer and the presentation happened, and it said like, oh, if you lose all the Pokemon will fight you instead, and you have a health bar as well, which is very interesting to me, honestly. That's going to be very interesting. But of course, like I mentioned earlier on, it's going to be very interesting to say, like, how are we going to follow a storyline, and if so, how is the storyline going to be followed? Like I said, there doesn't seem to be any gyms. It just seems like the whole idea of feudal Sinnoh is basically there's this one town, there's a lot of people coming in from different regions trying to see if they can develop Sinnoh into what it is now that we know about in the actual games Diamond and Pearl, right? So what do you think the storyline is going to be? Is it just going to be us, initially starting off with maybe, going and trying to hunt all these Pokemon in the wild, and then potentially, we start encountering this lore, and maybe the end goal is, well, as the title suggests, Arceus himself?
Yeah, so I think that's one possibility, and so I think that's if they go the Elder Scrolls route, where they build on small quests until you realize you're on track to face Arceus, and I don't know if you're gonna fight him, whatnot, but I do think that we'll have an encounter with Arceus at the end. But my concern with the quest in the story would be if they did something like only fetch quests, and that's how you get your lore, and it's mostly exploration, which that I think I would be a little disappointed by.
I can understand that. I can definitely get that. And I hope that's not the case. But I mean, it could be also like another problem and a concern I have, I will say, is also like if it's like Breath of the Wild, because I know some people have issues with Breath of the Wild as well in terms of its quest mode and quest storyline. And it could easily be in that format as well. They could be taking inspiration from that. We'll have to wait and see. The next thing, of course, we have to obviously talk about is the starter selection. And, this was very interesting to me. I genuinely was going into it like, the leak said it's going to be 3 Pokemon from 3 different generations or different generations entirely. And I was like, okay, it might just be like random. You go into the game and you're generated 3 random Pokemon for your starters, or kind of like Mystery Dungeon to an extent, But that doesn't seem to be the case. It's just 3 set starters: Cyndaquil, Oshawott, and Rowlet.
Yep.
Your thoughts, Waffles? I personally like it. It's kind of unique. Not my favorite set of starters personally. I would probably put them in the middle of my starters list, my starters tier list, I'd say. But not a bad one. What about you, Waffles? What do you think?
Yeah, I think I kind of like this idea. I think it would have been better, obviously, if it could have been randomized and we could just get 3 random Pokemon. But I feel like them incorporating these Pokemon, which all are, I mean, Cyndaquil, a lot of people like Cyndaquil, but I would say it's still kind of underestimated, underused. And so it's nice to see them give those starters a main game where you can kind of choose. It's not like an obvious pick this one. At the same time, I think it also adds a little bit of a unique spin to the lore, knowing that, hey, these are just the starters that the professor found as they were coming through the different regions and stuff. So, or maybe not professor, whoever the person is. Like,
no, they did say professor. They did say professor.
Okay, they did confirm professor. But like, I don't know. I know for me, I'm tempted between Rowlet and Cyndaquil. What are you going for?
Cyndaquil. I think Cyndaquil by far is the best option. I think Rowlet would be a second. Yeah, I think Rowlet is a second for me personally, but I think Cyndaquil takes it. I'm personally not a huge fan of Rowlet personally, and Oshawott as well is I'm not a huge fan of. I mean, if it was say Snivy and say Froakie instead of Oshawott, I would have been much more happier with those, and it would have been a bit more harder. I think Froakie would have been my easy choice, though.
I think Froakie is too popular.
I think it would be Cyndaquil as my favorite Pokemon.
Poor Oshawott.
Poor Oshawott. I mean, it do be like that sometimes. Let's move on to the battle system. Now, this is a bit interesting. We didn't get to see much of it. We did see a little teeny tiny bit of it, of course. It seemed initially like it was completely turn-based, the usual style. But there were leaks of pictures from like the website and stuff, potentially suggesting that it's going to be more like a Final Fantasy VII style system, an ATB system. Your thoughts, Waffles? I think that's a very different style to what we expect. And quite a unique run and interesting choice by Game Freak to switch to that.
Oh yeah, I think I'm open to it. I think it could be really interesting. I know for me, those kind of battle systems give me anxiety because it's just like, what do I click? Because like I tried playing the Final Fantasy VII or one of them recently, where I was just playing with that system. I'm like, I don't know anything about Final Fantasy, so it can be a little overwhelming. But I think for us who know Pokemon, it's going to be a new spin that's going to be making battle and combat very interesting. I think like why I know that's a common thing of like, why should they have turn-based combat? I mean, in the anime, they're going back and forth. So I think it would be nice to see more of the ATB combat. I think it'll take some getting used to, though, for sure. And maybe newer Pokemon fans might get a little overwhelmed.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm looking at the website right now just
Mhm.
to add more to it. Apparently, you can also have your allied Pokemon battle wild Pokemon that you hope to capture.
Hmm.
Just throw the Pokeball holding your allied Pokemon near wild Pokemon, and you'll seamlessly enter and command your Pokemon by choosing from
Oh,
moves it knows. And to capture
oh,
Pokemon as well in the game, you can observe them to learn their behavior, then carefully sneak up and aim your Pokeball. So I assume
okay.
you have to observe their habits and then maybe learn about them, maybe see how they work, and then only can you capture it after a point,
So
which is
that's
a
layers
very
then.
interesting take. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very, very interesting take, I must admit. I'm not sure. It's gonna be curious to see. Like, I assume you'll have to learn about the habit of the Pokemon. Maybe you have to wait a couple of minutes, maybe look at them, understand what they're doing, and then throw the Pokeball. What do you think about that, if that's the case?
I like it. I think that sounds really interesting. I think it depends on how they implement it, of course, but like, no, I think that's great. I think if you have to kind of watch, learn, get some strategy in there, so it's not just like for me, if it was this way, I would just go around with my Pokeballs, be like,
Yeah,
caught.
exactly.
So I like that there is some nuance, some things we're going to have to be aware of. I wonder though if we'll have to talk to the professor about them to learn about their habits before we can actually go out and catch it. I don't
Maybe you
know.
have a maybe there is a skill potentially. Like, I don't know how in depth it's gonna be in terms of
Hmm.
the RPG system and stuff, right?
Sounds
So
like it
what
might be
if
pretty
you
in
have
depth.
like a skill to like observe, and every time you observe a Pokemon, you level up that skill, and the higher
Oh,
skill is, the higher chance you can observe successfully and capture said Pokemon, right? Maybe?
yeah,
Who
okay.
knows?
Yeah,
We'll have
that
to see. Yeah, that'll be very interesting to see. Um,
gosh.
However, there were some things that were noted in the
Hmm.
trailer that are a bit concerning, I must admit.
Yeah.
Uh, and the first of all, of course, was to be expected. I mean, the Switch isn't the most powerful device on the planet right now,
Hmm.
and there were notable frame rate issues. Some Pokemon were questionably hopping around at like 1 FPS, Chingling in
Yeah.
particular, I think
Jingling,
it was.
yeah. Yep.
Um,
I will
but
say,
yeah,
going back
what do you
though,
think?
I looked at it and a lot of the Pokemon had some frame rate issues.
Yeah, so there are frame rate issues, which is not necessarily a surprise considering the Switch capability. But I mean, okay, I'll come to you in a second,
Mhm.
Waffles. But
Yeah.
I personally think we still have a year to go. We still have time for them to polish it up. You know, it may be noticeable right now, and I do agree it is kind of in that regards. But I mean, like I said, there's still a year to go. There's still time for
Hmm.
them to work on it, polish it up. I'd say at least 6 months before they start properly marketing it again, showing it off at E3 maybe and stuff like that. Um, and one more thing to address is, of course, the Diamond and Pearl remakes are also being made by another team entirely and another company entirely. They're with some help from Game Freak, but majority of it is being made by another team. So the entirety of Game Freak, or like 80% of it, I assume, is being focused on this. So, what are your thoughts? I think they still have time. I'm not too worried about it, but it is noticeable, of course.
I'll be honest, I'm not even stressed about it. I think with a year plus most of the company on it, like you said, and I mean they're previewing it right now. I'm okay with it having a couple frame rate issues, and even if it's not like completely polished when it comes out, it's so interesting to me that I feel like I wouldn't even mind it too much. Like I know a lot of people got upset about the tree in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and those are the same kind of people who are gonna be upset about the trees here because they're a bit pixelated. But I think overall, I'm gonna still have a great time with this game, and just based on the concept, based on everything we know so far, it sounds great. So like, if as far as the frame rate issues and stuff go, I do think it'll be fixed. They've got a whole year. I'm not worried about it, honestly.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you on that one. And the last thing I think we want to address,
Mhm.
and this is very curious to me because it's like they started off with the trailer saying, "Oh, Pokemon is entering a new era and whatnot," and the name also suggests it's Pokemon Legends Arceus. That makes me intrigued because what's stopping them from potentially doing a Pokemon Legends Lugia or a Pokemon
Ooh.
Legends Rayquaza or a Pokemon Legends Kyurem, for example, because we know Kyurem also has a very, very long history in the past, especially with Kyurem being, you know, one of the three combined dragons, right? There was that whole lore with Kyurem being one of, the combination of Zekrom, Reshiram, and Kyurem would make one unified big Dragon legendary Pokemon. Got there in the end inevitably, but what's stopping them from doing another prequel like that? And do you think that they're going down this route where it's only going to be Pokemon Legends, which will allow Game Freak to get more time, whereas this other company, Ilka, that's making the Diamond and Pearl games, might focus on the actual main games instead?
Okay, so I can answer that question. I'm going to say what's stopping them right now is money and worrying about fan reactions. So if this game does well, I think we see more Legends, Legends, Arceus Legends, Lugia, all of that.
Legends titles,
yeah, Legends titles.
The Legends titles, yeah.
Yeah, I think assuming that the game does well, which I think it will, I think we'll see more of those. But I don't think I would say that this is going to be the only type of game they'll be focusing on. I think that we'll still have kind of main style games as well, just because that's the tradition of Pokemon. And I feel like, especially with their competitive scene, with their trading card games and stuff, they need to be able to introduce new Pokemon to the franchise and to be able to continually build on that formula they already have. That being said,
that's going to be actually very interesting. Now that you mentioned competitive and whatnot, how are you going to introduce competitive into this game? Like,
I don't know if we will. I think that'll just be the Gen 4 remakes.
Do you think so? Because that's what I was thinking. Like, how do you introduce competitive into a game that's based on the olden times where, you know, the whole idea of these machineries to interact with people across regions and whatnot, you know, that's how they explain about being able to fight other people online is like, oh, you know, we have these amazing towers with these amazing infrastructures to allow you to battle trainers from other worlds and other regions and stuff like that, right? And here it's like you're based in feudal Japan. It's a more storyline based game. So do you think this is going to be an actual like proper single player experience with no like online experience?
I do think it'll be a proper single player experience. I think that we'll see it. It'll be great. I think it's going to be like the Breath of the Wild analogy you made earlier. I do think that we're going to just get single player. It's going to be a fun storyline. It's going to be open world, so you can just continually build your own fun with that, kind of, again, a la Skyrim. And so, like, I don't think we'll see competitive with this because I just think there's no real way for them to implement it with what we've seen so far. If they wanted to do, like, a mini version of that with the ATB combat, I think that's a possibility, but I don't know. I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to do that. But, well, my final thoughts are, well, I'm super, super excited for it. I think there's going to be a lot to look forward to in terms of this whole experience and what future it may hold. Again, like we said, you know, they could tackle Kyurem. They could tackle the history of Zygarde maybe as well. You know, we missed out on a lot of history with X and Y in terms of Zygarde and stuff. So, you know, there's a lot of hopes for the series. Hopefully it does well. I mean, again, like we said, there's some niggling issues. We think, obviously, hopefully they patch up over time. They still have a year to go at least. Yeah, I'm just excited. This is insane. I still can't believe. As I said, as a Sinnoh fan, I'm eating really, really good today. It's just so good for me. What are your final thoughts, Waffles, before we wrap up?
I love it. I would love to see more of these Pokemon Legends games in the future. I really hope it's going to do well. I think it will, just based on the fan reaction to the leaks and then to the trailer. I think it's going to be great. I'm really, really excited. I'm excited for both the Gen 4 remakes and this. I think just the end of this year and early next year are going to be really, really good times to be a Pokemon fan.
Yep. Yeah. I agree. And yeah, with that being said, let us know down in the comment section below. What do you guys think about Legends Arceus? Do you think we'll get maybe more than this title in the future? Do you think it's good that they're going for the single player open world experience? Did you have any issues with it? I mean, of course, I know most people will see the frame rate and stuff, but how are you guys looking? Are you guys looking forward to this? Are you planning on buying it as well? Let us know in the comment section down below. It's been Gale Ride and Waffles signing out. Peace out, everybody.